Welcome everybody. Thank you to join this presentation. First of all, a really brief introduction about myself. I am Marco Perri and I work for Frascol since 10 years as R&D and now also technical support manager. This presentation, the presentation of today is about two-stage compressors. So when you need to go low, so at very low temperatures. So we can start. Here a little bit for our reciprocating compressors, what we produce. On the right, there are the natural refrigerants, latex fluorocarbons, and subcritical and transcritical CO2. This has been explored by the presentation from other colleagues. Instead, today I will focus for the standard refrigerant for the two-stage compressors. So let's say a very particular segment, because the two-stage compressors are used to reach very low evaporating temperatures. It can be with evaporating temperatures until -65, -70 Celsius degrees. And the two-stage compressors are also a little bit particular because the very low application are the only one out of F-gas regulation. So if you evaporate at -60, for instances, you are allowed and you can use R448, that for other segments clearly is forbidden. Let's see more in detail. Two-stage compressors and our models 2V and 2Z, designed and engineered by eliminating external conduits. So if you look, and then we will do it, at two-stage compressor, it seems almost a standard compressor. You just notice a different position of the valves. We will see better later. So there are no external conduits for the interstage, like the big majority of two-stage compressor available on the market. In addition to, we have a special system that is the motor cooling system that has been designed to give a fresh cooling of the motor only when there is the needing. So it's a prevention for the motor overheating, but the motor is not constantly cooled down by refrigerant, but only when it's needed. So we will say that there is a valve, there is a system that checks the internal motor temperature and decide to open or not the valve in order to cool down or not the motor if it's necessary. Here how the compressor looks like. Without the external pipes, the compressor itself becomes very, very compact, more compact. There are no pipes, external pipes. What you can see on the right is just the economizer. That is an option that there can be or not, a subcooler kit or economizer. The compressor itself is very reliable and strong. The liquid injection is optimized, and we will see how, with the exclusive motor cooling system. The total efficiency of the machine, so it's increased, and the operation are really, really silent. Here an example of the nameplate. Clearly on the left high, we can see the manufacturer Frascol. We can see the displacement here clearly being a two-stage compressor. This is the first and the second stage. The type of lubricant, all the certifying labels, all the electrical data, and clearly the name of the compressor and the serial number. We can see here the model designation. The name itself of the compressor is really, really simple to understand, because in this case, 2Z30, 30 means the motor sides, so the HP at 50 Hz. In this case, it's 30 HP. We have two-stage compressor from 5 to 40 HP. These two numbers divided by a dot just to give you the capacity of the first of the second stage. So in this case, 51 and 102. Our biggest instead is 123. The minimum is 26. Here, just the type of oil, and the big majority of cases just POV oil, and other can be available on request. Here, a little bit the product range, more in detail. For the SS series, that are the two smallest, we have only two models with 5 or 7 HP. And the displacement is 1626 or 1927. For the V compressor, in reality, it's only one compressor. It's 10 HP, 42 the first stage, and 29 cubic meter per hour for the second stage. The most interesting series is the 2Z. So it's a compressor with 3 heads, 3 cylinder, 6 cylinder, 2 cylinders per head. We have totally 6 models. And here we have the bigger, that is 123 cubic meter per hour in the first stage and 62 cubic meter per hour in the second stage with the 40 HP motors. So it's the biggest two-stage compressor available on the market. Here what we have the operating limits with 448A and 449A. It can work with evaporating temperatures until -65 degrees, so it's clear that a standard compressor arrives until, a single stage compressor arrives until -35, -40. That's why I said that these compressors are dedicated to applications where you really need to go low. Can talk about cryogenic segments, applications, or other industrial process also, that when you need really to go deeply in blast freezers in very, very low temperature freezers. These family of compressors and with also these refrigerants are always available in our Frasco selection software that is for free, and you can download always from our website www.frasco.com. So very, very easy. You will find in the software also the application envelope with 448 until -70, because as I have mentioned at the beginning, the F-gas does not apply for cell temperatures below -50. So we can say evaporators between -55 and lower are not in F-gas. So it means that if you find it and it's available, however, in this area you can use 448, and you can use this refrigerant also in the future, also in the next years. I repeat, the problem is if it will be available so for the next years. Also, this envelope clearly is available. This envelope and all the performance in every point, it's available in the Frasco selection software. Here we can see the difference with a 3D drawing with subcooler or without. So we have two options. In our software, we give all the information needed to build by yourself the subcooler. Otherwise, we give you a subcooler with a filter, with a solenoid valve, with the side glass, and with expansion valve needed, and clearly with the heat exchanger needed to do the subcooler, and this it's already mounted by us. In the standard control, there is also inside the electrical box a control card. We will see it deeply in the next slides. The liquid injection solenoid valve, that is the one mounted on the flange, that is well visible in both in both drawings totally at the right, so mounted on the motor flange right, and the oil pressure switch to check that the oil pump is working correctly, the delta P2. Sorry. So here is the standard extent of delivery that allow you to connect it with the big majority of controllers already present on the market. The delta P2 must be connected to the main panel and gives you an alarm in case of problem with the oil pump. Instead, the control injection card gives you an alarm in case of high temperature and needs an input to understand if the compressor is on or off. As standard, we supply also a toroid that is very simple to be put in the power supply to the compressor cable, and so you can use this toroid to give the signal on or off compressor to the device. Otherwise, if the toroid is not used, you can give to this device a simple on-off signal. This is our standard, this is the basic wiring. Okay, this is the first option, is to add, in addition to the components that you already seen, a diagnose module that what it does is to give you more information about errors, about the number of switching on and off, about how many times the compressor remains on, and so on. It gives you diagnostic features. It gives you a lot of information about how the compressor is working, in what way, if it's very near to the threshold, if it's far from the threshold. So you can understand if the compressor is working properly in a good way or not. Another possibility is to use another pressure switch instead of the delta P2, the ENT250FR, that is connected directly to this device, to the ENT6090ml diagnose. It allows you not to go to the main panel, but is controlled directly from it. Instead, a part of the injection card and the toroid is exactly the same for both the three systems. So here we have a very brief resume. Standard, there is the injection card. We will see later very precisely all the functions. And there is the delta P2. In the option 1, we just add diagnose to have diagnostic function. And in the option 2, we substitute the delta P2 with the ENT250FR just to have a more simple connections between these two devices, the ENT69 and the pressure switch itself. Okay, let's see very in detail the injection control card. What is the function of this device? This device checks the motor temperature and decide, depending from the motor temperature, if the motor itself needs an injection of fresh refrigerant or not. So the motor temperature is not only like in a standard compressor, like in other brands compressors, and on-off, where you can see if the motor temperature is okay or the temperature is in alarm. But it's, we will see later, a little bit more linear sensor. So we can understand, okay, the motor is becoming too hot. I do not stop the compressor, but I become to inject some fresh gas. If it's enough, the compressor can work. If the motor temperature goes down, the motor becomes fresh, I lock this fresh gas injection because I don't need that, I don't want that the motor flange becomes covered by ice. So I stop it. Instead, if the motor temperature is increasing, I open to inject fresh gas inside the motor. but the temperature is still increasing, clearly I need an alarm signal. So, resuming a little bit all the benefits. There is a constant and accurate control of the motor temperature. The motor cooling is efficient because it's done only if needed, otherwise it's not done. In this way, the reliability of the motor itself and so of the total compressor is absolutely increased, and there is the prevention of motor overheating. And the liquid injection is not constant, is not done as soon as you switch on the compressor, but it's monitored. So it's only if it's needed. Here is our AMS sensor that is inside our motors. As I said you before, we have here a zone where the ohmic value of the resistors inside the PTC AMS sensor inside the motor is flat. So what does it mean? If you are from 70 to 100 degrees, that it means that the motor temperature is increasing, but is however below the threshold, we have time. And what we do here, we inject fresh refrigerant in the motor. If, however, we go over 110 degrees, there is an alarm, and it's correct in this way to prevent the motor burning. If the temperature goes below 70 degrees, and so the ohmic value is 0.4 kilo, there is absolutely no needing of injection, and so we stop the injection. So we call this zone pre-alarm zone. It's the zone where the control car device switch on the solenoid valve and inject the liquid in the motor. So a very safe system for the motor itself and so for the compressor itself. Here is what I said before, the area, the zone, where we can add to prevent motor overheating. It's all this part, and I repeat, it's from 70 to 100 degrees. As I said before, even if the injection is on, but the temperature continues to increase, clearly at that point we have to stop the compressor. But look at the standard PTC that are inside of the compressor. In this case, you have the area in which you cannot do anything, and then errors, so alarm and so compressor stopped. In this case, there is not the possibility to make something. With our system, instead, we can do something. We can inject only if it's needed, and in this way we prevent stopping of the compressor that obviously can create always problems to the final system, the final user. Okay, so here a resume of what we have seen. We have the wider two-stage range available on the market. There is the availability to many refrigerants, and remember that we have Frascoglia as a laboratory, and so we have tested this type of compressors with several refrigerants, and then we have transferred the data tested and measured in the software. Another fundamental point is the safety and reliability of the system, thanks to the special sensor that we have put inside the motor that can allow us to do the cooling of the motor only if it's needed, and this is absolutely a step increase in safety and reliability of motor, and so of the compressor. Okay. So thank you very much to follow this presentation. Thank you. Thank you again.
Selamat siang Bapak dan Ibu semuanya. Terima kasih telah bergabung dengan kami dalam webinar Virtual Refrigeration Expo 2020. Berbeda dengan tahun-tahun sebelumnya, pada tahun ini kita harus berjumpa secara virtual. Dalam kesempatan ini, izinkan kami, Wongso Aircon and Refrigeration, memperkenalkan produk range kami. Wongso Aircon and Refrigeration pertama kali didirikan pada tahun 2014. Gambar ini merupakan beberapa fasilitas yang kami miliki seperti mesin CNC, mesin bending atau mesin tekuk, mesin fin press, mesin cutting, mesin expanding, dan juga alat untuk tes kebocoran. Kami memastikan bahwa produk yang kami kirimkan ke customer sudah memenuhi standar. Kita mulai produk range yang pertama, outdoor unit untuk air conditioning. Ada 4 jenis, yaitu yang pertama, Wongso Air-Cooled Water Chiller Hermetic Scroll atau WACH series. Kemudian yang kedua adalah Wongso Water-Cooled Water Chiller Hermetic Scroll atau WWCH series. Sesuai dengan namanya, kedua outdoor unit ini menggunakan kompresor jenis scroll. Beberapa brand untuk kompresor scroll yang kita gunakan antara lain adalah Emerson Copland dan juga Danfoss. Kemudian yang ketiga, Wongso Air-Cooled Water Chiller Semi Hermetic atau WACS series. Yang keempat, Wongso Water-Cooled Water Chiller Semi Hermetic atau WWCS series. Sesuai dengan namanya, kedua outdoor unit ini menggunakan kompresor jenis semi hermetic. Beberapa kompresor yang kita gunakan antara lain Fastcoat, Dorin, Bitzer, dan juga Swaimei. Kemudian indoor unit yang pertama adalah Wongso Air Handling Unit atau WAHU series. AHU kami memiliki range cooling capacity dimulai dari 50.000 BTU per hour sampai 1.700.000 BTU per hour. Dengan airflow mulai dari 1.500 CFM sampai 37.000 CFM. Wongso Fan Coil Unit atau WFC series. Fan Coil Unit ini memiliki cooling capacity standar mulai dari 9.000 hingga 60.000 BTU per hour. Fan coil unit ini bisa digunakan untuk aplikasi direct expansion dan juga chill water application. Blower dan motor yang digunakan adalah jenis direct drive centrifugal fan dengan 3 tingkat kecepatan, yaitu low, medium, dan high speed. Wongso Rooftop Package atau WRT series. Rooftop Package ini terdiri dari outdoor dan indoor unit yang menjadi satu bagian. Rooftop package ini memiliki cooling capacity mulai dari 80.000 hingga 300.000 BTU per hour. Package unit yang lainnya adalah Wongso Dark Split Package atau WDP series. WDP series ini terdiri dari indoor unit, yaitu WDS atau Wongso Split Duct, dan juga outdoor unit WCU atau Wongso Connection Unit. WDP series ini memiliki range dari 3 sampai 40 HP dengan variasi 1 dan 2 sirkuit dengan cooling capacity mulai dari 30.000 hingga 400.000 BTU per hour. Kita beralih ke Refrigeration Unit. Outdoor unit yang pertama adalah Wongso Air-Cooled Blast Freezer atau WABF. Unit ini didesain untuk aplikasi ultra low atau untuk pembekuan. Unit ini menggunakan jenis kompresor semi-hermetic two-state. Kami menggunakan berbagai brand kompresor seperti Fastcoat, Dorin, Bitzer, dan juga Swaimei. Untuk kapasitas mulai dari 5 sampai dengan 30 horsepower. Untuk unit refrigeration berikutnya adalah Wongso Light Condensing Unit atau WLCU series. Sesuai dengan namanya, maka unit ini berukuran kecil mulai dari kapasitas 1/4 horsepower sampai dengan 2 horsepower dengan menggunakan listrik 1 fase. Jenis ini menggunakan kompresor hermetic piston dengan brand seperti Tecumseh, Fulton, atau Embraco. Berikutnya adalah Wongso Multipurpose Condensing Unit atau WMCU series. Sesuai dengan namanya, unit ini didesain untuk berbagai kegunaan dan juga berbagai aplikasi, mulai dari medium temperatur, low temperatur, dan juga untuk air blast freezer. Kelebihan unit ini adalah didesainnya yang tertutup dan juga mempunyai desain vertical airflow pada kondensornya. Unit ini bisa diisi dengan berbagai macam jenis kompresor, mulai dari hermetic piston, scroll kompresor, semi-hermetic, dan juga two-state semi-hermetic. Condensing unit memakai model ini membuat mesin menjadi lebih awet karena desainnya yang tertutup oleh casing. Wongso Air-Cooled Condensing Unit atau WACU series. Unit ini adalah model standar condensing unit dengan model terbuka dan juga horizontal airflow untuk kondensornya. Bisa juga untuk kondensor dipasang secara remote atau terpisah. Untuk kompresor yang standar yang digunakan adalah semi-hermetic, kemudian brand untuk kompresor yang biasa kita gunakan adalah Fastcoat, Bitzer, Dorin, Swaimei, atau merek lainnya. Memiliki kapasitas range mulai dari setengah horsepower sampai dengan 50 horsepower. Wongso Commercial Condenser Unit atau WCCU series. Unit ini dapat digunakan pada aplikasi medium dan low temperatur. Unit ini menggunakan kompresor jenis hermetic piston atau scroll kompresor dengan casing tertutup dan L-shape condenser menyerupai unit outdoor AC pada umumnya. Keunggulan lain produk ini adalah modelnya yang sangat compact. Memiliki range mulai dari setengah horsepower sampai 10 horsepower untuk aplikasi medium temperatur dan juga 3/4 horsepower sampai 8/4 horsepower untuk aplikasi low temperatur. Berikutnya untuk kondenser. Wongso Light Condenser atau WLC series. Unit ini adalah air-cooled condenser didesain khusus untuk range kecil mulai dari setengah horsepower sampai dengan 2 horsepower. Sangat cocok untuk aplikasi kecil dan juga komersial. Didesain dengan lebih simpel dengan tidak mengurangi kualitas unit tersebut. Kemudian Wongso Air-Cooled Condenser atau WAC series. Unit ini adalah air-cooled condenser standar yang biasa banyak digunakan di pasaran. Memiliki range capacity mulai dari 4,7 kW sampai dengan 370,7 kW at 15 kTD atau kurang lebih 1 sampai 100 horsepower. Dapat didesain untuk vertikal dan juga horizontal airflow. Kelebihan air-cooled condenser ini adalah surface area coil yang besar sehingga dapat membantu untuk mengoptimalkan airflow dan juga heat transfernya. Beranjak ke evaporator unit, ada 5 jenis evaporator yaitu yang pertama, WDL series, digunakan untuk aplikasi medium temperature atau chiller. Didesain khusus untuk SC2 condition, yaitu suhu evaporator -8 Celcius dan suhu ruangan 0 Celcius, menggunakan fin spacing 4,5 mm. Memiliki kapasitas mulai dari 2 sampai dengan 116 kW. Menggunakan axial fan mulai dari diameter 350 mm sampai 710 mm dan dilengkapi dengan diffuser. Kemudian yang kedua adalah WDD series. Evaporator ini biasa digunakan untuk aplikasi low temperature atau freezer. Didesain khusus untuk SC3 condition, yaitu suhu evaporator -25 Celcius dan suhu ruangan -18 Celcius, dan fin spacing yang digunakan adalah 6 mm. Kapasitas dimulai dari 1,3 kW sampai 81,4 kW. Axial fan yang digunakan adalah axial fan dengan diameter 350 sampai 710 mm. Dilengkapi juga dengan diffuser. Kemudian yang ketiga adalah WDJ series. Evaporator ini biasa digunakan untuk aplikasi low temperature atau freezer. Desain khususnya untuk SC4 condition atau suhu evaporator -31 dan juga suhu ruangan 25 Celcius. Fin spacing yang digunakan adalah 9 mm. Kapasitas dimulai dari 1,2 kW hingga 49,5 kW. Axial fan yang digunakan dimulai dari diameter 350 mm hingga 710 mm. Evaporator ini juga dilengkapi dengan diffuser. Evaporator yang keempat adalah Wongso Heavy Duty Evaporator atau WHD series. Evaporator ini biasa digunakan untuk aplikasi low temperature atau freezer dan bisa juga digunakan untuk aplikasi air blast freezer. Didesain khusus untuk SC3 condition, yaitu suhu evaporator -25 Celcius dan suhu ruangan -18 Celcius. Kemudian didesain juga untuk SC4 condition, yaitu suhu evaporator -31 Celcius dan suhu ruangan -25 Celcius. Dan juga bisa untuk SC5 condition, yaitu suhu evaporator -40 Celcius dan suhu ruangan -34 Celcius. Sementara untuk axial fan yang digunakan hanya diameter 500 mm dengan fin spacing 7 mm. Evaporator ini juga dilengkapi dengan diffuser. Evaporator yang kelima yaitu evaporator Wongso Heavy Duty atau EWHD series. Evaporator ini biasa digunakan untuk aplikasi low temperature atau freezer dan bisa juga digunakan untuk air blast freezer application. Didesain khusus untuk SC3, SC4 dan juga SC5 condition dengan menggunakan axial fan hanya diameter 630 mm. Fin spacing yang digunakan adalah 9 mm dan juga dilengkapi dengan diffuser. Kemudian Wongso Panel Insulation atau W-Panel series. Panel insulation ini didesain khusus untuk cold room atau cold storage. Memiliki density 40-45 kg per meter kubik dengan toleransi 5%. Tersedia berbagai ketebalan, mulai dari 50, 75, 100, 125, hingga 150 mm sesuai dengan aplikasi yang digunakan. Kami juga menjual berbagai jenis pintu seperti swing door, sliding door, sectional door, dock shelter, dan juga dock leveler untuk melengkapi kebutuhan instalasi cold storage atau cold room Anda. Kemudian Wongso Block Ice Package atau WBIP series. Package ini digunakan untuk menghasilkan blok ice atau yang biasa kita kenal sebagai es balok. Paket ini terdiri dari kondensing unit, coil evaporator, ice can atau tabung es, kemudian agitator sebagai pengaduk, dan juga lifting device atau alat untuk memanen hasil es balok. Kapasitas standar yang dihasilkan adalah mulai dari 1 ton hingga 50 ton per hari es balok. Wongso Flake Ice Package atau WFIP series. Package ini digunakan untuk menghasilkan flake ice atau es serpihan. Paket ini terdiri dari kondensing unit, ice flake evaporator, dan juga kontrol panel. Kapasitas standar yang dihasilkan adalah mulai dari 200 kg hingga 30 ton per hari untuk es serpihan. Kami memiliki Authorized Distributor di Jakarta, yaitu PT Gunung S13 yang beralamat di Lini TVS Trade Center atau LTC Glodok, lantai 2, Blok A7 nomor 5, dan beralamat di Jalan Hayamuruk 127 Jakarta Barat. Untuk info lebih detailnya bisa menghubungi nomor yang tertera atau email ke info@gas13.com atau bisa mengunjungi langsung websitenya di www.gas13.com. Kemudian, untuk mengetahui lebih detail mengenai produk Wongso, silakan Bapak Ibu menghubungi ketiga orang yang tertera, yaitu Bapak Yohanes, Bapak Hendrik, atau Ibu Siti. Bisa melalui telepon, WhatsApp, email, atau juga bisa mengunjungi website kami di www.wongsocool.com atau www.wongsoref.com. Jangan ragu untuk menanyakan hal apapun kepada kami mengenai unit kami, karena dengan senang hati kami akan berusaha untuk menjawab atau sekedar memberikan solusi kepada Bapak Ibu semuanya. Demikian yang kami bisa sampaikan mengenai Wongso Aircon and Refrigeration Product Range. Kami juga mencari distributor baru untuk membantu memasarkan unit kami. Terima kasih kepada Bapak Ibu yang bersedia meluangkan waktu untuk mendengarkan presentasi kami. Salam sehat dan sukses selalu. Apabila Bapak Ibu ingin mendapatkan bahan presentasi ini, silakan untuk mendownload di bit.ly/Wongso Refitech 2020. Sekali lagi terima kasih Bapak Ibu semuanya.
The presentation of today is about our selection software, FSS3, your day-by-day engineer assistant. So I want to say good afternoon to everybody. Thank you to participate to this webinar. I want to thank also the organization of the exhibition for this opportunity. I am Kevin Norris. I am part of the Frascol Technical Department team since 2017. Now I am a selection software and technical training specialist here. My main duty are support sales with special selection, technical support, and assist customers with new project development, and hold technical trainings on our products and technologies. Just 2 words about us and Frascol. Frascol, it is an Italian company that has been operating for more than 80 years in the world of refrigeration and air conditioning. It is a manufacturer of compressors, reciprocating screw open compressors with a production capacity of 70,000 units per year. Frascol is present in more than 86 countries with a lot of partnership and with subsidiaries in United States, China, India. Some of the applications in which Frascol is present are commercial refrigeration with the complete variety of refrigerants, process cooling, with system enslaved in manufacturing industries process, industrial refrigeration with thermoregulation, food processing, chemical industry, and so on. And last but not least, comfort of ambient, meeting the strict requirement of indoor ambient thermoregulation. Our mission is to offer innovative solutions to become the best partner for our customers and the benchmark for the market. Frasco's aim is to become a business partner of our customers, basing the relationship on development of innovative solution and sustainable criteria. Our goal is to support our customer during every stage of a compressor's life, from the choice of the characteristic of the system, through the selection of the compressor, through the after sales and service. Quality for us is mandatory, and this is why we provide hydraulic and functioning run test on 100% of the production. Thanks to our commitment, experience, and global presence, we can offer products, technologies, and services that allow our customers to improve performances and energy efficiency. FS3 Frasco selection software. Refrigeration and air conditioning world is very variegated and complex. It includes a lot of different applications in terms of sites, operating condition, and target markets. This variety obliges market player to a specific dimensioning of each components that characterize the refrigerant circuit. And compressor, it's not an exception. Therefore, it results fundamental the usage of a specific and dedicated selection software that permit to designers and engineers to choose the right components for their needs. This is why we developed FS3 selection software. FS3 is the main tool to select the compressor that best fits your needs. Here we can find a summary of the main feature inside the selection software. Using FS3, you can select all of Frasco's range of compressors and condensing unit, including screw compressors, two-stage compressors, ATEX compressors, CO2 compressor, and so on. For each compressor selected, it is possible to have operating limits expressed in terms of evaporating and condensing temperatures, cooling capacity, power input, and efficiency. Simulation with most common refrigerant in the market you can find in our software. For refrigerant that are not included in FS3, we can provide special selection on request. For all polynomials data, the reference is the EN 12900 that prescribe in general for reciprocating compressor a return gas temperature of 20 Celsius with 0 K of subcooling at 50 Hz, and for screw compressor 10 Kelvin of superheating, no subcooling, always at 50 Hz. For each compressor, it is possible to have dedicated technical information, drawings, and link to handbook, catalog, and certification directly from the software. It is developed internally, thanks the suggestion and the confrontation with customer, consultants, and research centers, in conjunction with the analysis of raw data from our internal laboratory. We can continuously update performance data on selection software. The selection software is completely free, and you can find it on our website, www.frascol.it, in section download, or at the following link. FSS3, it is structured into main calculation methods or modalities, check calculation and selection calculation. With check calculation, it is possible to verify performance of a known system. Maybe it is possible that an example is if you have already at stock a compressor and you want to verify if this compressor can fit the requirement of a specific plant. Or maybe some operative condition change and you want to check if also for this different condition the compressor is still the best choice. Otherwise, with selection calculation, you ask the software which is the best fit, the best compressor that fit for a given condition and cooling capacity, the best fit the cooling capacity required for a given condition. Usually, if you start from a blank sheet, it is better to use selection calculation, see what the software gives to you, and then with check calculation, refine the selection. FSS3 is a very powerful work instrument inside the main tool of selection of compressor. It is possible to find cold room calculation tool and CO2 transcritical cycle calculation tool. So with one software, you can have a complete instrument to simulate an enormous variety of system and application. This is the main screen in which you can insert all the input of your system, and the software gives to you the output of the system. Starting from the beginning, we have the selection mode in which we can set the modality of the system that can be refrigeration and air conditioning or heat pump. Change only the output, because clearly if you want to make an heat pump, your useful effort, it is the heating capacity. Otherwise, if you want to build, to design a refrigerating system, your useful effort, it is the cooling capacity. Then you can choose the refrigerant you prefer. We have a lot of refrigerant, including newest refrigerant like the HFO blend, like R455A and R454C. And then the reference temperature. Usually the selection are done in dew point temperature, but if you use a refrigerant that have a high glide temperature, maybe can be more useful to make the selection at mean temperature, but depending on your preferences. We have also the possibility to select different power supply that are all available for the compressor. If you see a power supply in this box, it means that it is available for the compressor selected. Then the suction condition, in which you can set the evaporating temperature here, and the next two boxes to set the superheating of the suction superheating. Here you can set directly the suction gas temperature, or setting the suction superheating directly. The information is the same. You can set the superheating or directly the suction temperature, information the same. The last box for suction condition, it is the useful fraction of superheating. So the part of the superheating that take place in the evaporator. In this case, it is preset to 100%. So all the superheating for this system take place in the evaporator and have an useful effect. You can change clearly this parameter, and you can set directly the evaporator superheating, so the Kelvin of superheating that take place in the evaporator. Same story, you have the same information in two different ways, depending on your preferences. Box of discharge condition, so the condition in the condenser. You can set the condensing temperature, dew point, and the subcooling. If you have the information not of the subcooling but directly of the liquid temperature, you can set directly the liquid temperature. I put 1 just to have an idea. Here we have the grid box of compressor, in which we can choose all the model of compressor that we want. Select one compressor for all the model. We have the possibility to choose the number of the compressor at fixed speed. Choose the number that you prefer, that you want to use in your rack system or your system. If there is the possibility to install part load capacity methods, like in this case RSH, you can select how many RSH head you want to install to the compressor. In this case, we stay 100%, and we can set the number of variable speed compressor here, changing this number. And if we have selected the number of variable speed, we can choose also the frequency. So we can change the frequency of the variable speed compressor. We can add at least 6 different model of compressor, but for each model, I change just to show you that are different. For each model, we can choose the number we want. Here, when I have to set the number for the Z, maybe, here we can put the number that I want, but only 6 different models. Honestly, it's not usual to use more than 2 different compressors for each level, but here you have the possibility to set all at least 6 different models. Here you have the possibility to show out of production model. Maybe you have a old compressor that can maybe it's still running, so you want maybe to change the refrigerant. Clicking here, the list of compressor change, and in bracket you have the old model. In the bottom part, we have the application envelope for each compressor. So you have expressed in terms of evaporating temperature and condensing temperature the limit in which you can operate with this compressor. This box in the bottom part, there are just some certification, which certification we use to declare the performances, and if there's some compressor that is ASECOM certified, here you will find the ASECOM logo. We are at output table, in which you can find all the output that you can look for a selection. It's over for the practical software. Let's come back to the presentation, and we are arrived to conclusion. With Frasco selection software, FS3, you can select so all the Frasco range. It is not only a calculation software, but also a container of information. It is a day-by-day support for your system design to find the right compressor that best fit the requirement of your system. Frasco provide also support and consulting to be able to use all the potentiality of this software. Thank you for the attention.